the fifth kind. Click on the links in the description to watch the full video. The Popol Vuh expresses the Mayan narrative of beginnings. It tells of advanced beings arriving on a flooded planet Earth who set about terraforming and adapting our ancestors into a useful workforce. Quetzalcoatl, otherwise known as Kukulkan or Cucumatz, is the chief genetic engineer. He produces a being more advanced than ourselves. We could call him Homo sapiens quetzalcoatlus, which is us plus a bit of precognition, us plus a bit of remote viewing, so cognitive abilities a bit more developed than our own. And unfortunately, Quetzalcoatl and the other powerful ones confer, and they say these humans are too difficult to manage, they're too smart. Can we dumb them down? And so the final experiment involves Quetzalcoatl producing a vapor that, when sprayed over human populations, damages their neurological connections so that their perceptual field is brought down to the 5 physical senses. No more remote viewing, no more precognition. They can just see and hear what's around them. Now they can be corralled and managed. Now, this is another story that when you hear it, you think, wait a minute, a vapor sprayed over human populations to dumb them down. Are we talking about the past or the present? Because today, people are concerned about what is being sprayed into our atmospheres. Why are we finding metals in our soils, in our oceans, in our food supply? And is that good for us? When I was a boy back in the 1970s, I remember the stories coming in as investigative journalists followed the research that was suggesting what we were pumping into our atmosphere from our road vehicles was damaging our children neurologically. Children who lived in highly polluted areas, went to school in schools that were surrounded by idling traffic, were found to be more aggressive and less intelligent because of lead in the fuel we were using. I'm very thankful for that research because it has produced a result whereby we're now driving vehicles that are hybrid vehicles that use lead-free fuel, and it's because we didn't want to brain damage our children. So this story of a vapor that creates brain damage is contemporary, it's ancient. In ancient Rome, they used water that came into their city through lead-lined pipes. And in the 1800s, researchers began to suggest that this could have had an effect on the behavior of the ancient Romans, making them less intelligent, more aggressive, because, once again, of lead poisoning. Now, even those who want to debunk that story, who don't think that was a significant factor, have to acknowledge that the lead level in Roman water was 100 times the lead content of the spring waters in the districts around. So these concerns about what's being pumped into our environment, they are very relevant today, and they were relevant thousands of years ago when our ancestors wrote these stories about the vapor and Quetzalcoatl and their agenda for humanity. But what is a mythology? Is it a vehicle of ancient memory, or is it a metaphor to convey moral teachings or philosophical ideals? When you see some of the extraordinary correlations among the ancestral narratives of cultures, ancient cultures that apparently had no contact with each other, for me, it's those overlaps that first drew my attention and made me realize I'd been reading some of these stories wrong. Some people read them in a fundamentalist way, as if every detail, every word, that's what happened, word for word. Others try and look for a moral in the story. You can't really read the Genesis stories that way. The morals that would emerge from them would be ridiculous. But as I saw the correlations, I began to realize these are carrying memory. And sometimes what's being brought to us is a visual memory. And different cultures have different language and different metaphors, different images. but they're reporting the same visual memory of what happened to our ancestors in a time long ago. And so it's very possible that these stories have been curated not just to tell us about the past, but to give us a grid for understanding why things work the way they do today. Are our world mythologies given to evoke a picture of hope, or are they a counsel of despair? Do the ET narratives suggest humanity as a noble, sovereign species, or as a species engineered to slave for an alien presence? I actually find the idea of a council of ET presences somewhat reassuring, because the ancient stories tell us that among that spectrum of agendas are some agendas that are very pro-human, that there are some demographics who are here because they care about Homo sapiens, they care about human beings. Their presence on the council is a stabilizing and reassuring one. But even those who came with more selfish agendas, those who came in Genesis 6 to hybridize, point to the fact that there is something unique and special about human beings. And I wonder if we can do business with these ancient stories, if we can do business with what Homo is saying, that there is a galactic federation of which we can potentially be a part, we can then begin to see that the human race is something very special in the cosmos. Some are here because of us. And I wonder if we might see ourselves in a different light. Is it possible that our unique blend of animal strength, mammal emotion, and higher consciousness has produced a species with a unique capacity for love, compassion, creativity, and harmony? I don't find it hard to believe that there are some here because human beings are unique and special for those reasons. And if that is the case, and we can take our place in an intergalactic federation, then I wonder if we might see ourselves as a species in a different light, understanding who we are, where we came from, and our great potential as human beings. The Fifth Kind. Click on the links in the description to watch the full video.